The NFL trade deadline is less than 3 weeks away, and the closer we get, the more rumors are going to come out from everybody that covers the National Football League, from the top insiders all the way down to right here on the Packers Report. Today's trade rumors come from NFL Network's own Ian Rapoport. He released an article a couple of days ago that outlined the latest trade buzz and trade news that he's hearing from his sources inside the National Football League. Before I tell you a little bit more about Kingsley Enagbare and what his future might be in Green Bay, make sure you subscribe, because our future right here at the Packers Report, it's a bright one. You want to know how I know that? We are going toe-to-toe with Bears now all season long, and we're only down 5 subscribers. If you hate the Bears, if you love the Packers, 2 great reasons. Hit that subscribe button. If you need one more, well, it does not cost you a dime. Subscribe right now to the Green Bay Packers Report daily videos. Does Brian Gutekunst have Kingsley Enagbare on the trade block? That's the question we're going to answer today, and that question, like we mentioned earlier, comes from NFL Network's own Ian Rapoport. In this article, he talks specifically about other teams reaching out to the Packers regarding Kingsley Enagbare. Here's it exactly. Among the edge rushers who have garnered interest are the Titans' Arden Key, the Dolphins' Bradley Chubb, and the Packers' Kingsley Enagbare. And honestly, at first glance, I don't hate this. And I'm not saying that negatively towards Kingsley. I'm not saying that I want him to be traded. What I am saying is there are a lot of Packers players that I would rather have off the trade block than Kingsley Enagbare. Kingsley Enagbare, I would rather have him getting interest from other teams than a lot of players on this roster. And why, you ask? Well, through 5 games this season, Kingsley Enagbare has been good, but I don't think he's exactly proving to be somebody that has incredible importance for this Packers defense. And it's not his fault. Like, there's been a lot that has happened this past year, and some good, some bad. When Preston Smith was traded last year at the trade deadline, guess who stepped up in his absence? Kingsley Enagbare, and he stepped up in a massive, massive way. But then since then, it's kind of been downhill for the edge rusher. Benched in the offseason for Lucas Van Ness. He did have a starting role. That was going to LVN even prior to the Micah trade, when it was just Rashan Gary and LVN in those starting 2 spots. And then they go ahead and trade for Micah Parsons, which only moves Kingsley Enagbare down the totem pole even more. I want you to make the call. Do you think the Packers should trade Kingsley Enagbare? Let me know by giving me a yes or a no in the comment section down below. Should Green Bay trade the edge rusher? I'm giving it to you guys. I want you guys to let me know what you think. I think the end result for whether this ends up being a trade or a not solely depends on the health and future in this season of Lucas Van Ness. If they're really, really worried about things and feel like he's not going to be able to be a key contributor for the next couple of months, I think they'll keep a guy like Kingsley Enagbare. But on the flip side, if they're fine with LVN and you think that you can get something good, something decent, something worth receiving for a guy like Kingsley Enagbare, then go ahead and do it. And you want to know why I say that? Because I don't think his trade value is going up anytime soon. Like, if you look at the last 4 seasons, if you wanted to trade him, it was going to be in that 2024 season and after this last season, and in that offseason. If you wanted to make a deal, it should have been a couple months ago when his trade value was at his highest. Now he plays 5 games, 8 tackles, only 85 total snaps, 56 of those being pass rush snaps, and you don't have quite the cachet that you maybe had a few months ago. You don't have quite the leverage in dealing a guy like Kingsley Enagbare with other teams that you might have had. And that leverage is only going to go down as the season goes along and as his pass rush reps continue to kind of flatten out. The pro, if you're looking for reasons to, or if you're looking for arguments to other teams, I should say, of, hey, here's why you should trade for this guy. Well, he's only 25 years old. You could say, you know what, he's just a little buried in our system, but if you get him in yours, he's young, he's still moldable, he's still coachable, and we've seen what he could do before. The cons, though, everybody's going to know there's a reason he wasn't playing. everybody's going to look at the fact that you went out and made a deal for Micah Parsons. And yeah, Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the National Football League. But still, if you felt good about Kingsley Enagbare and what he was giving you at the depth, maybe you wouldn't have done that. I feel like teams will always be able to justify it in that sense. Be honest with me. What do you think the percent chance is the Packers trade Kingsley Enagbare? Scale of 1 to 100 in the comment section down below. And speaking of 100, with our brand new, and actually not brand new, with our great friends over at Underdog, they're offering you a deal that if you download Underdog, use our code PackersReport, you get $100 in bonus funds. Football season is in full swing, and I look to Underdog to have the most fun while I'm watching football. It's the best place to get in on all the action, right? If you download the app today and sign up with promo code PackersReport, you score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. And if you get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. We have a massive game this weekend for my Tennessee Volunteers. So I wanted today's Underdog lineup to be all about Tennessee, Alabama. Give me the higher on Chris Brazzell, 26.5 yards longest reception. Give me the higher on Joey Aguilar, 1.5 passing touchdowns. And you know what? Go ahead and give me the lower on Ty Simpson, 290.5 passing yards. Download the app today and sign up with promo code PackersReport. Score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code PackersReport. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing good terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer now valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call 24/7 helpline at 1-877-8-OPEN-Y or text OPEN-Y to 467-369. We're going to round out today's show by telling you 4 teams I believe might be on the phones with Brian Gutekunst to trade for a guy like Kingsley Enagbare, and we're going to start with the Baltimore Ravens. Look, Baltimore's season has not gone like they were hoping, not gone like they were thinking, and frankly, it's not gone like anybody thought it would. And if you look at their pass rush, I believe that's a big reason why. 8 sacks, 26th best in the NFL. 68 quarterback pressures, bottom half of the league. Quarterback pressure rate, 29th. They can't get to the quarterback for the love of God. They thought they got a steal with Mike Green, and unfortunately for them, Mike Green has not been playing up to the level they all thought he might. 0 pressure for him in the last 2 games. They traded away Odafe Oweh. I believe they're going to look to replace him at some point, and that could be with Kingsley Enagbare. The Philadelphia Eagles in a very similar boat to the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams that many people thought were going to be top contenders in each of their respective conferences, and both teams that have had disappointing starts. Different, because Baltimore's 105 and Philly still has a winning record, but disappointing nonetheless. And part of the reason for that, Philadelphia, is that pass rush, which is hilarious because, in my opinion, that's the biggest reason they were able to win the Super Bowl last year, because they were so dominant. They've taken a massive step back. Sacks, 9. Quarterback pressures, 15th. Quarterback pressure rate, 32.0. That's 20th. They have not been able to get to the quarterback easier. They lost Josh Sweat in the offseason, and I think that's being a little bit bigger of a loss than they originally anticipated. Getting a guy like Kingsley Enagbare could just give them a little bit more depth and a little bit of a better rotation. For the San Francisco 49ers, they lost, also with Philadelphia, Zadarius Smith, retired earlier this week. For San Francisco, they lost Nick Bosa to an ACL injury. He's out for the rest of the year, and their production is kind of showing. 7 sacks, 31st. 56 quarterback pressures, 30th. Quarterback pressure percentage, 31st. They are bottom 2 or bottom 3 in every one of these statistics. But the thing is, I believe they still have a hell of a defensive coordinator in Robert Saleh. If he could just get a little bit more pieces, a little bit more production, and that might be Kingsley Enagbare, they can fix those numbers. Final, Kansas City Chiefs. That's the last team we're talking about. And their numbers aren't as poor as the following 3 that we've shown you. 14 sacks, 13th. 76 quarterback pressures, 12th. Quarterback pressure rate, 11th. They're top half of the league in all 3 of those statistics. But if I know anything about the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to be looking to get better in the wide receiver room. They're going to be looking to get better at edge rusher. I think they do both of those. And I think edge rusher is less on the priority needs, so they might go for less of a priority type player, less of a big name. And I think Kingsley Enagbare fits that category perfectly. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you got me followed on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But honestly, if you're still watching and you're just subscribed, that's great. We'll never be upset with just people who subscribe, but you got to get those notifications on as well. That way, whenever we post a video, whenever we do anything, you guys will be there as quickly as you can.